When someone wrongs you, you should forgive them. In fact, in Matthew chapter 18, Jesus says the way in which we forgive other people is in direct correlation with how God will forgive us. But forgiveness is not easy. It's certainly not simple in any way. But it's what Christians do. It's the key to true freedom. When experiencing divorce or going through divorce, oftentimes forgiveness is one of the most difficult things that you'll have to deal with and that you'll have to go through. And so I want us to look at 8 keys to forgiveness of how you can become a forgiving person. But as we go through that, realize this. It's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. If you're going through a divorce, it's not something that's going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. It'll be the hardest thing you've ever done. But it's also the key to moving on and the key to truly living once again. How do you forgive? First and foremost, you have to understand what forgiveness means. It doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean even that they're going to deserve to be forgiven. It's not quick. It's not linear. What I mean by that is it's not just a simple progression. Oftentimes, the journey to forgiveness has many bends and curves and difficult areas. But forgiveness is really for you more than your ex. It allows you to move on. It allows you to no longer have to dwell with the situation that you're facing. And so forgive. And the way to forgive is to understand what forgiveness means. Secondly, you've got to become forgivingly fit. Much like exercise, if you ask somebody who had never run at all to run a marathon, they would never ever make it. In the same way, when you have to forgive a great ill done against you, a great sin which has been committed against you, you've really got to exercise your forgiving muscles, if you would say, and get to the point where you can get there. It's like physical exercise. How do you do it? First and foremost, you commit not to harm that person. Don't work on getting revenge. Remember that person is created in the very image of God. Beware of pride. Beware of revenge. Beware of wondering who's on your side, who's on their side. Remember that God forgave you. Romans 5:8, while we were yet sinners, we didn't deserve it. God forgives us. Allow God to see the grace of forgiveness even in your heart. Thirdly, a key to forgiveness is to address the inner pain that you feel. Some people will hurt others for no reason, no real reason. Sometimes the reasons can be just, sometimes they're unjust. Ask yourself why. Why would this person act in this way? Why is it you're going through this? Is it anxiety? Is it the way that person was raised? Is it the way that you were raised? Is it dealing with depression? Is it dealing with mental illness? Is it dealing with a lack of trust? Sometimes understanding why you feel the way that you do and why some people act the way that they do can lead to a key of a little bit more peace. That's why it's important to see a therapist, to see a trained counselor who can help you in certain ways. Fourthly, to truly forgive, develop empathy. That's where you put yourself in the place of another person. Whoever hurt you, look at them as a child. Why would they act this way? Is it because of their parents? Is it because of their job? Is it because of their environment? Understand every single one of us are carrying wounds. Every one of us are carrying hurts. Every one of us are carrying certain things in our life. Now, evil is never justified, and mistreatment of other people is never justified, but sometimes it helps us to understand where these things are coming from. Number 5, find meaning in this suffering. I'm not saying that suffering is ever good. I'm not saying that, there's goodness in evil. But sometimes there can be goodness in the journey that you experience. What can be accomplished in your life story? When people see your recovery, when people see what you've gone through, how can you be an encourager to other people? What are your goals? Instead of dwelling on that hurt, develop short-range goals, things that you're going to accomplish in the next month or 6 months. Develop long-range goals. Where do you want to be in a couple years? Where do you want to be near the end of life? Who are you going to be on the other side of this journey? When forgiveness is hard, use some of your other strengths. We oftentimes hear that a person who's blind is able to hear in a better way. Or maybe a person who has lost hearing, maybe their sense of smell is heightened. When you're not able to forgive, perhaps you can strengthen other parts of your psyche, your body, to help you deal with this situation. Realize forgiveness takes time. Forgiveness takes patience. Forgiveness takes determination. It's hard to forgive other people. And when that happens, one of the strengths you can use when you're struggling with forgiveness is to find people that you can be good to. Find people you can be with. Being around good people, being around good examples, sometimes will help you forgive and let go of some hurts. It's one of the reasons why it's important to be a part of a church, be a part of God's church. As we're around good people, it helps us to live. Look into all the different ways in which you can improve yourself, ways in which you can help yourself in a journey. Number 7, forgive yourself. Sometimes when we're hurt by someone else, we look to ourselves and we see shortcomings that we have, and we blame ourselves for the way other people have treated us. Sometimes we're harder on ourselves than we are on other people. Honor yourself as a person. Realize that as a person, you're going to have weaknesses. You're going to have shortcomings. None of us is perfect. That's why we're growing. That's why the Lord put us here on this earth. Seek forgiveness from the people that you hurt. Be willing to apologize to people you've hurt. If you need to learn to forgive somebody else, give that person an opportunity to forgive you as well. And that brings us to number 7, develop a forgiving heart. Allow your experiences to develop you into a better person. Don't become bitter, become better. Now, trauma is not objective, it's subjective. What does that mean? Something that's objective can be easily defined and is the same for every single person. When you experience trauma, it's not that way. It's subjective. It's different for every single person. Many different people in a room can have experienced the same thing, but they're each going to deal with it in a different way, in a different manner, and in a different time frame. Each one of us needs to develop a forgiving heart to understand, both to ourselves and to other people, that there is a journey to be here, a journey to forgiveness. But as you learn to forgive, truly forgive, that will make you more like Jesus. Forgiveness is not simple. Forgiveness is not easy. But forgiveness is necessary.